it.
I got it there. Alrighty. Greetings, peace, and love to all. Yo soy, Shine Aleem Il. You already know all is well. And bro, you always know I need your assistance. Needs assistance when it comes to the other appellation. What was it again, bro? And thank you for joining us. And I am here with my bro, the living master, and he is
kind. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Brother Hassan Ghazi Obey here in Morocco at Northwestern Mexico. How are you? Let's get it for this Saturn station retrograde, right? That's what the title says. Intuition Monday, Saturn station retrograde. All right. And I yield to you, Brother Sean Islam.
Indeed, yep. Saturn's going retrograde. I mean, if y'all haven't known what retrograde is, I highly suggest just to go simple Google, like one would go Google their favorite rapper, singer, there's really no excuse for that. Like, what does Saturn retrograde mean? Or what does this mean? It's like, it's a simple Google, like that you would Google any toxic or any TV show or movie. So, it's getting to that point of what folks will have to really learn to do the research yourself. Right? I mean, we can tell you, but it really won't resonate until hey, don't come right here unless you want to be in the video. Oh, too late.
Basically.
Yep. Say what's up now. She's mad. She don't like being picked up. She gets so mad. I told you. I gave you fair warning. What you do? All right. See ya. Right, but here comes up. Like, what's she doing? Where's she at?
Pick me up too. I want to be picked up too.
She getting loving. I gotta have you some loving. I can't go without it.
Right.
Y'all just gonna sit here and fight, but yeah, folks. So you gotta go. All right. Yeah, it's coming into that each one must be their own priest. Each one, everything that folks were looking for outside of themselves, they're gonna be, forced to make changes, as Prophet Noah Jolie said, forced to look within and really embrace that energy of becoming one savior. That's kind of been the band-aid for a lot of things is you don't want to do it yourself. Well, believe in this being or these beings. And, a lack of true spiritualism, as most things are based in the materialism. So it's a reformation coming, right? A transformation coming as one ready to make that transition into that next level. Or does one want to repeat the same journey of the same lessons again, but just in different forms? That question is only up to you. And I think some are ready to move forward and others, we already know how it is. So, yeah, it's about to be a beautiful Saturn retrograde. Let me see. I forgot to actually look when it goes direct. So I'm talking right here, November 4th, right?
Yeah,
so
I
from June,
think we speak about that, correct?
Yeah, June 17th to November 4th. So a couple, hey, get out. Couple moon cycles, right? What some would call months. So really, like I said, just look within. Saturn's in Pisces. So, we're going to go in on all of that.
And that's 7 degrees, 12 minutes, right? Where it goes station retrograde. Correct. Now, in the 4th, where is it station direct? Is it back in Aquarius?
Let's see.
When it's station direct,
0 degrees Pisces.
Interesting. How many minutes?
30 minutes. 0 degrees Pisces, 30 minutes.
Interessante, bro. So 0 degrees, 39 minutes to 7 degrees, 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the quote unquote Saturn retrograde shadow. That's correct. Interesting. So that involves Fomalhaut. So it already did strike 1 against Fomalhaut. It'll be doing a strike 2 very soon. and then the strike 3 once it goes forward. So it'll be out of the shadow by when? I'm going to go out on a whim here and say February. What do you see? No, I'm saying like literally see what you see. Like when is it at 70s 13 minutes? Pisces. I'm almost thinking the end of January, beginning of February. If my math is mathing.
Centigrade 13. Let's see, February 7th.
Look at that. That's why I'm like, this is what it's. So Saturn will be out of its retrograde shadow by February 7th, 2024. Look at those numbers. Really. But that's to the wee. That's an 8. That's interesting. That is interesante. Diesel, you don't want. Never mind. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. It must be a bumpy kind of thing. So, guys, this Intuition Monday, we're going in on the Saturn retrograde, right? And of course, I'm editing on the fly here, so you get you guys all together for your so you can just see what description and the proper tags and everything like that. Just wanted to hook you guys up for when you come in. You wanted to hit that see more, even though you see Moor's in front of you. That see more tab on Instagram. Information here necessary for you all. For you to check out 7healstar.com, sign up for our email list, as well as checking out all the different links that we have there. Prophet Noble Drali University, where you have access to our free library. And it's not free because it isn't worth anything. We should be, doing what people that sell you
2,000 notes at least.
Yeah, because people that sell you crack got you guys out here spending 3 racks, 10 racks on stuff they don't even show you how to use, right? So, I mean, would you need to offend you and say you're backwards? Or would you just rather me say donate and then you think you don't have to do it? But a lot of people will be forced to make changes, So at the end of the day, like I said, people will be wanting to throw their finances at us come real soon. It's all good, because we're just doing the right thing. Right. And right. Shout out to Mother Ross Day. Spoke with her today also. She corresponded with I Am Brother Sean via phone and email. I would like to say, guys, stop listening to people out there telling you that you're witnessing for your documentation has to be people that are there. Witnessing has to do with spirit witnessing, people that are in the same mindset on the higher self plane. So stop listening to the fall of the Moriscos, falsely termed rise of some type of Moors or something. I don't know. Get locked down by agents on 95 North people. Stop listening to these beings. Stop it. They're federal agents. Stop listening to these agents. All right. Stop letting them. These people think you're dumb. And so they think you're going to believe anything. They are banking on your ignorance and your stupidity forward. You are. So it's like, since it's divine and, all law governs everything, all law governs everything. Okay. Then you will be those casualties pertaining to war that may have to deal with thinking that your documentation needs to be witnessed with people physically witnessing your documentation. And that's not what it is. What people are to do is mindset and heart on a much higher plane than those smelly culprits on that much lower plane with dirty beards and gold fronts. All right. Stop wasting your time. I don't care who I offend when I say that. If the truth offends you, then go in the mirror and point to your ears and be like, bad ears. Stop making me be a bitch ass. Like, that's how you got to be to yourself when pointing to your ears. All right. Study for yourselves. Right. It's like when, Brother Asir shared some things with us on Friday. We're going to, grasp some things from bro. Just certain things he mentioned. I didn't wait for him. I'm sitting in my bros. I'm like, I think this is what he meant. Right? And got the text message. So with that being said, guys, what are you looking forward to? Oh, by the way, I am Brother Sean did tarot pulls. Right, my tarot cards have been calling me. I have 2 sets of tarot cards that are right here in front of me. Right, here's one set. There's another set. Right, so my tarot cards are right in front of me, and I was like, Brother Sean, because me and Brother Sean basically, I think, have identical sets. Of course, he has, I think, a few other. He has like oracle cards also. And I was like, let's ask a question about the Saturn retrograde. And so we're going to give you guys our tarot delineation at the end, because, I only pulled 1 card for my answer. And I think Brother Sean pulled 1 card, but I think he said it was, you said it was something that you were just looking at for yourself, not particularly collectively. And he and I ended up pulling the same card. And we didn't all we discussed was, let's really see what's going on with this Saturn retrograde and pull cards for it. And we both specified our questions, away from each other, of course. And then once I got back in contact with Brother Sean, I was like, bro, what cards did you pull? And when he told me what he pulled, he got to the 3rd one. I was like, bro, that's the same card that I pulled, bro. You know what I mean? And interestingly, pulling from the same deck too. I didn't know which deck he was going to pull from. And I wasn't sure which one I was going to pull from. I wasn't sure if I was going to pull from my Brotherhood of Light or my Smith Rider-Waite. I was like, let me see. The bros are really in tune with tarot because we're astrologers first and foremost, right? So, Brother Sean, anything you want to add to the energy before we get started, bro?
No, it's about to be it's about to be interesting, but it's like every day is interesting, like it really is. And like once we like, 'cause I know how we like kind of, even though material, but we like still know that things are moving in the spirit. Even things might seem at like a standstill. What we call the physical. A lot of shit's moving in the unseen. And I think the only thing that the collective can do is, which I'm working on myself. Don't get me wrong, I work on this all the time. Being patient and just know that things are working. That's kind of like in the Holy Quran. And he was like, what was it? Insufficient knowledge. And he was like, if you have it, you rejoice, but as soon as you lose it, you're sighing, So it's like, if folks get the things they truly want, will they still be happy when they get it? Or would they get the things they want and be sighing and complaining the next moment as soon as they get what they ask for? So, yeah, it's,
man, did we just read that in chapter 41, actually?
That's what I'm saying. Like, all I can say is forced to make changes.
Man, that's gonna make me look real quick. I could promise you we just looked that up in chat. Like, did we just read that in chapter 41? Like,
it wasn't 41. It's definitely last cycle.
All right, I'm just double checking because I remember that sighing line really quickly, man. So it wasn't in constancy, right? All right, yeah, because I'm looking. right? Don't see it yet. Yeah, it's not an inconstancy right now, bro. Because I am looking at chapter 41. That's why I'm like, hold on, man. Is that?
A little bit 42.
And 42 is weakness. No, no, bro. It's inconstancy. It is degree 41, minute 20, bro. Who shall say of the inconstant? He is joyful, quote unquote, when his next breath shall be spent. Wow. Wow. Interesante, right? So we are here joyful to present these things to you while at the same time letting you guys know, do listen to beings that do not comprehend the higher mind pertaining to things. All right. And who you want witness, if that's the case, if being around somebody was all you needed to witness your documents, then you can find some Negro Black colors that aren't Moorish American.
Right.
Like, come on, guys, use your common
Really think
sense
about
here.
it.
Like, yeah, really study. Stop. You guys have got and a lot of you would probably not admit it, that you're in follower mode, that you're in believer mode, because you want to seem like you're grown and you have your own mindset and you're so woke and conscious. So you're sitting here waiting to listen to someone else. You know, even when I and my brothers will hear what people say and listen to the words that come out their mouth, but we're not governing our lives according to their words. We're taking what they share and analyze it for ourselves. All right. So with that being said, let's move forward, actually.
All right. You start now, bro.
So let me and I know I gotta give you co-host too, brother. My apologies. Let me make sure that's done there. And I shall kick it off. All right. So I obviously have houses 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, and 9. All right. For where Saturn's retrograde. And bro, I am ready to do it. And guys, remember, stick around, because what we're going to go in on is we're going to also go in on our tarot delineations for what we chose also. All righty. You know what, Brother Sean? Let me go and grab that too. I did forget to grab that, bro, for the retrograde to share on out. All right. So let's share that on out to our loved ones also. Hit the copy, right? And go on to the Telegram and share it to Lawful Living Telegram as well. Right. And let them know that we're live now. Guys, remember, go to 7healstar.com. Sign up for our email list so you can get that email that comes out on every Thursday. All righty. So that you can be able to see what it is that we went over. Click on all the links. All righty. And see what it is that we have to offer also. And remember, guys, we are the only ones. We don't have to call ourselves Emperor Brothers of Astrologers. We don't have to do that silly stuff. All righty. We don't have to make ourselves seem more than what we all are. We don't have to say we're priest or some crap like that. We don't have to do that, because we've over the years more than proved ourselves. From you guys seeing me travel to go physically study, with what Brother Todd was sharing and Mother Delilah was sharing, and them connecting me to Mother Rashida Bay, of course, guys. So, some you guys have got to stop enjoying controversy and start enjoying truth. All righty, seriously, keep your lives simple so that you don't have to keep. You're just finding your own enslavement, and you'll start to see that your enslavement is based on your mindset. That ye must be able to, you got to subdue that. All right. You really got to subdue that, guys. All right. and do your best to not be envious and jealous of beings that have the keys and can help you to be better. Right. That's how Negro Black coloreds think. Negro Black coloreds are jealous like that. So really check yourself and make sure you're Moorish for real, not just because you wear a fez or have a turban wrapped a certain way with a button on it. Like, come on, guys. Some people are, you'll see, and they're not what you're really expecting. Remember, a lot of these people wouldn't, be who they are, where they are, if it wasn't for us sharing the way we share, because we didn't gatekeep like a lot of people with the information and knowledge that we have. A lot of people are gatekeeping, and you guys have to really allow yourselves to be free from that. And I trust you'll allow yourself to really do it. Really, really, really allow yourself to not have a gatekeeper keep you from what it is that you need. Saturn retrograde in the Aquarius zone, right? And look, 19 degrees Aquarius is on the rise. This is the back, right? 19 degrees Aquarius on the first house, right? And you also see 19 degrees, 37 minutes. Leo, 7th house cusp, right? So 19 degrees is the back degree pertaining to the back. Interesting, right? That's Nasira, if I'm not mistaken, at 22 degrees, 7 minutes, right? All within, it's very interesting. All within the astrological degrees, right? You see Saturn's there in the first house also. And so very interesting with Saturn and Uranus ruling over the first house here. Uranus, of course, is by sign square, all righty, to Saturn. However, they're both ruling from the first and third house. And what they're bringing to that first house cusp pertaining to the back, just kind of, back your communications, right? Any communications that it is that you have, make sure you are backing them, right? And when you're backing these communications, make sure you are not disheartened by delays, because Saturn in the first house gives delays, right? However, there'll be some innovation. So you'll find yourself with a bit of a transformation on the rise, with that Pluto there being signaled in the 12th house being ruled by Saturn also. Right. So you'll be able to find yourself finding a new threshold for patience and really even enjoying the outcome, because now you can allow yourself, instead of to be anxious while being patient, you can really allow yourself to be one that actually sees the benefit as it's actually culminating to being patient. So for the 17th June 2023, at about 10:57:18 post-meridian, this is near Rajkot, India, or we know before it was India, before it was Hindustan, that particular portion pertaining to the land known by the people there. It was named after the river closest by it, and that's the river Sindh. And Sindh is where they transpose some words and give you Hindu. Right, but it's Sindh. And so near that portion, near that particular Rajkot, they would probably call it province. So, right. And now they're calling it the Republic of India. However, we will say Sindh. So that's this particular slice. If we were to slice the earth in 12 slices like an orange, all right, we will see within the Aquarius slice this particular energy where it's taking place. And again, Saturn and Uranus are ruling the first house, while Saturn is also ruling the 12th. So really allow yourself to have rising transformations as you allow yourself to, well institute spiritual infrastructure. So that way, instead of looking at things as delays, look at it as a moment to build patience. And with that, I yield the floor. Hey, Malika, peaceful greetings to you. Glad you joined us. All right. All right.
Hey, brother.
What it do, ski? We're just getting started too. You're hilarious. All right, so for house 2, we see Saturn's there in house 2, right? This is for the Capricorn zone, all right, for 17 June 2023. So Saturn station retrograde on Saturn day, and this is happening in about 2000 hours, 27 minutes, 18 seconds, or 8:27:18 post meridian. And this is near the Al Juyada, right? Or I'll say Al. Hold on 2 seconds. Oh, okay, I thought somebody like, hold up. Okay. So it's Judaida Jordan, Al Judaida Jordan, right?
Judaida.
Yeah, right. That was really wild. I thought it was about to like, oh, pulling up, man. I'm like, come. Al Judaida, like, hold on, I'll be back. Mute. But anyway, Al Judaida Jordan, right? So, guys, what we're seeing here, all right, now Saturn and Uranus from the 2nd and the 4th are ruling over the 2nd, while Saturn's ruling over the 1st. So, what we can actually grasp here is a moment to allow ourselves to really value security and the sudden changes in the infrastructure and the way of how we secure ourselves. Another thing we can really allow ourselves also to do is be watchers of our lower self during this Saturn retrograde. We can make the changes necessary that has caused delays in our values, and things that we thought that were valuable to us will actually now make the changes necessary so that we can actually move forward away from those, things falsely held as values. All right. And really find a way to further expand security and moving forward away from our comfort zones as well, thus unlocking the chains for us to really utilize a way to like utilize our own spiritual goals to nurture our journey more than looking on the outside, right? Because materialism is not going to be the satisfying energy. It will definitely be, what'd you say, bro?
My bad, Tana, dog. She got like sauce on her nose. What you been?
So really, guys, allow yourselves to thoroughly enjoy the sauce that is the inner the inner growth. Allow the sauce that's the inner growth to be your joy, right? So it is what it is, right? All right. So with that being said, what? Still talking to the puppy. Got you. Yeah, I'll let it go. Interestingly, too, how the moon's ruling the 7th house. I think that's interesting. While it's still particularly 12th from the sign that it rules, I think you guys can allow your subconscious minds to be able to, really bring a means to, service yourself. Really do care and caring for yourself so that you can be able to relate to others in a much more healthier fashion, so that you won't be just speaking out of turn or out of ignorance. You'll actually allow yourself to speak from a place where you can not just get along with beings colloquially, but you'll be able to get along with beings on a much higher plane spiritually. And with that, I yield the floor. Let's take it to house 3. And looking at the pattern, we're going into the Sagittarius zone for house 3. Started out with the Aquarius, coming out of Capricorn, and we're in the Sagittarius zone. And this is happening about, if I'm looking at this correctly, 1800 hours, 27 minutes, and 18 seconds, or 6:27:18 post meridian, a song equatorial Guinea. And Saturn is there in the 3rd house here. So some delayed communications you guys may be finding, maybe you're actually receiving something that you sent off for maybe 3 months ago. And now you're like, oh, I finally received it or whatever. And, maybe you had ordered something back in March and it didn't show until about around June 17th. And I think you'll find yourself very happy about that. So someone who might surprise you because of the delay, they may add something to that also that you didn't expect, which now has you further institute some respect. And now you're still word of mouthing to people, hey, man, it took this long, but they said they had some delays. So yeah, even though they had delays or whatever, I still would give them a pretty awesome review, even though it kind of ticked me off about how long it took. But at least they did this to make up for it. So of course that's Saturn and Uranus ruling the third house. However, in the second house terms, though, Saturn's ruling over Pluto there in the second. So it will make you be able to change your values. So again, patience is something that's key right here. And this is before we even get into our tarot delineation for the cards that we pull for the questions that we ask. So right now, I do see patience within the transformation is one that is definitely peaking. And with that, I yield the floor to my beloved brother, whom I'm well pleased. Not before, though, I want to point out, we're look the galactic center is on the rise while Sagittarius is on the first and 12th house. Jupiter's there in the fifth. I want you guys to really pay attention to how you can thoroughly expand your values with some higher learning. All right. So, guys, make sure you're wrapping your minds around something that really allows you to not just defend yourself with heated debate or discussion, but with actual prudent thinking. So again, exert reason, be prudent. That's your resolution. And with that, I yield the floor to our beloved brother in whom, well, please, Brother Sean Ali Mel Islam. Islam, bro.
Right now, we're coming to the Scorpio zone. All right. Looky. So we're moving near Russell, Sierra Leone. Where you going? Where you going?
Hey.
Right? Dine and dine forever. Right?
Really, bro.
That's what you think, right? But all right. We still got Sagittarius on the rise. So we have Saturn here in the fourth house. Right? Conjunct the vertex. Would you looky? So what I'm just saying for this, guys, there's going to be a new start in your home life, right? What seemed as initial restrictions or blockages, in the outer world with this Saturn, turning retrograde, you're going to find a lot of hidden gems within oneself. And I'm just getting that someone's ancestors or, someone's spirit guide, specifically either a past mother or even a past father. If someone's, had a mother or father transition, they will either have a vision of some sort or if they do altars, but a past loved one will come help bring you some message, right? Interconnection. And with Jupiter being a final dispositor for this Saturn retrograde, 6 degrees, Taurus in the 6 degrees is degree of many enemies. But there's always gonna be some haters out here, right? So
while in the 6th house at that, right?
That too, right?
Yeah.
6 is secret enemies, right?
Correct.
No.
It can be
secret.
It can be,
right,
yes.
So secret enemies. So I think the Saturn retrograde is gonna feel a lot of beings who you might not even have known that was against you. But I would say the best thing to do is just shine one's light. Embrace the unseen and really kind of leave what can be seen alone. And just get wrapped up in one's own life, right? What's that saying? How can one grow their own garden when they're always tending to somebody else's?
Yeah,
right?
How can you tend your garden when you're pulling someone else's weeds?
Right, there we go.
My baby just texted me and it's hilarious. I'm about to just go ahead, bro.
Right. So and Jupiter is, like I said, expanding all of that. So first and fourth. So there's a lot of service. And I think, that some beings, haters or secret enemies is gonna, show themselves, or it will be shown within dreams. And that'll give the being, the collective, their energy to be themselves and to, align with their authentic self. So Saturn in Pisces is restricting love, right? Restricting love to others and giving that to oneself so that they will have more to give instead of so that they would have more to give. So it's restricting for now to give the self, so that at a time when one can share, it's not, type of thing. So yeah, just be sharing open. And with that, I'll yield the floor. Moving along to next. Where you at? We in the Libra zone. We in the Libra zone. Wow, would you look at this? I can't make this up, y'all. 22 degrees, 22 minutes, right?
Wow. Time out. Where the midheaven is. Yo. Bro, let's just keep that to ourselves.
Oh, you already know, bro. You already know.
That's amazing.
What is y'all don't never want to be up here when I'm on live. Now y'all want to kick it with me. But it's cool because I love y'all. Right. So that's beautiful. So we're traveling near Rebore, Bolivia. Right. We got Saturn and the fifth house. It deals with creativity, love, but I'm just saying that with this, that beings are gonna have a reformation, right? I think the collective, right, for this area and Libra risings will be coming back into a sense, as they say, like Mercury retrogrades, one's exes, past friends, but with this Saturn retrograde, I think they'll be able to really grasp a lot of lessons that's been learned, or a lot of things they did before, and they can really, like I said, restrict oneself from the things that aren't serving them. And also, being opening to their intuition, right? So maybe going on a detox, or looking up things to decalcify their pineal gland, right? Which they say is the seat of the universe, and being able to look deeper and further than what they can just see with our normal two eyes. And we got Jupiter, so like I said, final expositor, but Venus is the chart ruler. Venus is at 10 degrees Leo in the 10th house. So yeah, I think there's a lot of love coming in. And whether that be just by like finances, or actual love, or just some kind of like harmonic sense that brings harmony, it'll really be relieving beings of their sense of worry. Right? 22 degrees, 22 minutes, right? Think of master builder. So being able to build oneself up and be their own guru. With Jupiter being in the 7th house, is expanding the relationships.
Yes, let's be clear that guru is the name of Jupiter.
Jupiter. Right? Guru and also Hove, right? Guru and Hove.
Yeah, guru or Brihaspati for the Vedic or the Jyotisha. It is Guru or Brihaspati for Jupiter. So you guys have a positive outlook on Guru, which is just teacher. Go ahead, I yield.
Islam. Yeah, tune into a lot of wisdom. So I think that's another part of it too, is tuning out the material world and really looking to the unseen, right? Remembering their connection to source, and also learning to trust themselves more. If they've been having struggles with trusting themselves or listening to their intuition. Yeah, right. Just seeing that they are the creator of their own true free will. And with that, I yield the floor, right? And so backing it up on into the Virgo zone.
Indeed. Shout out to Brother Derek Blash Bay, says Islam. Mother Janelle Blash says Islam, brothers. Islam, you mother. And Mother Sahara says, peaceful greetings to everyone. Peaceful greetings to you also, Mother Sahara. Islam. I yield, bro.
Islam. All right, so we're traveling near Dumont, New Jersey for the East Coast, right? For the Saturn retrograde occurring on Saturday at 13:2700 hours, 1:27 post meridian. We've got Saturn at 6, right? And it looks like we still got Venus ruling this chart. Venus is in the 11th house now. And once again, right, Saturn, 6th house, we think of service. Long-term service, right? Or eccentric health. So I think beings too are going to be releasing a lot of things. Maybe we see an increase of those going vegan, or increase of beings starting to go like pescatarian, kind of just taking the necessary steps to get to vegan, and some might even go as far as just going completely raw, just taking whatever steps they can, learning what they can from the internet, and also just by beings that they know, like somebody might have talked shit about vegan, they go ask their vegan friend, hey, what do you eat? And they're probably going to joke like, oh, so now you want to come that way, but they won't say that in a harmful way. It's going to be a joking way, but really, embracing beings like to come into the energy, right? Venus is in Leo and also ruling over the 9th house. So there's a sense of beauty of self and also harmony when it comes to one's habits, that they can really embrace the hearts, right?
That's interesting. Just to add to your wisdom, it's interesting because this chart is similar to when I cast a chart for the tarot question for Saturn retrograde from near the Baltimore Corporation, Maryland State Republic. So that's interesting that you're doing for Virgo zone, Dumont, Absagami, or New Jerusalem, which they term New Jersey. I yield.
Islam. So able to take this sense of higher learning and be able to see the good and the bad and everything, see the black and the white, and letting go of being judgmental and embracing love more, finding new ways to create, finding new ways to heal, and just limiting their perspective on some things, right? When it comes to what they think is like philosophy, or maybe even, traveling less too, right? If one's always on the move traveling, maybe they can be restricting themselves to travel less and to just embrace everything that is around them. And with that, I'm gonna yield the floor to you, bro.
Islam. So we're moving on to the Leo zone. I have Leo, Cancer, and Gemini. All righty. So we're moving on to the Leo zone. We clearly see this is taking place near that's Alamo Gordo, right? That's the fat Alamo, I guess. New Mexico, 17th June 2023. And it's mountain time. Look at that. Mountain. It's funny because mountain move daylight savings or anything like that, right? That's the one so-called time zone that stays the way that it stays, right? Where everybody's records are stored in the mountains, right? The hills have eyes. It's taking place around.
It's morphin time.
What'd you say?
I thought you said it was morphin time. I was looking up a Power Ranger movie earlier that I used to watch when I was younger. I was like, hey, bro, really just say it's morphin time?
No, you're hilarious. No. No, see that mountain time is, supposedly doesn't move, and the mountains is where they have everyone's records stored or whatever, near what they call Utah State Republic and Arizona, those areas where they're doing all the so-called genealogy and all that crap that they know nothing about at all. I mean, the mothers and fathers of civilization are us. You know what I mean? So some of our, our sons and daughters that's pent down at 33 degrees that can't rise any higher in their knowledge. They just can't. All righty. Those sons and daughters, they just can't. They will never be able to, actually. And it's like the more we actually tune into the science of these things instead of trying to ignore what our culture actually is, we'll see why these beings know nothing. They're only taking advantage of what others do not know. And that's their only means of doing so. It's nothing to be sad about. It's just, get better at, not rejecting your culture. Like that's really what that is, honestly. However, we see Saturn is, look at Saturn's in the 7th. Look at that. I'm glad this isn't a horary question, right? Right? Like Saturn in the seventh is like,
no.
Right? However, this is somebody who has a relationship with someone older. And maybe that older being that's, you're in a relationship with, maybe both of you guys, right? Maybe you guys are having, somebody's having a surgery, maybe got that surgery energy to it, possibly. However, Mercury, right, in the 10th house is ruling over the ascendant. I think that's interesting, as well as Mercury ruling the midheaven too. I think we can go into some detail about ourselves and how we stand firmly amongst our peers. All righty, because this is a moment where the so-called rubber meeting the road, right? Where digging more into the history pertaining to things and really seeing the viability in that and moving forward with those things, it will really allow people to be able to communicate sincerely what's on their heart when, standing how they need to stand amongst their peers, right? All in Gemini. What's going on as far as the 10th house is funny. Everything in Gemini is in the 10th house. So that's the local community. That's your peers. And Virgo, Ayurvedically speaking, being the intestines, while the lungs, arms, hands, and shoulders is Gemini. And Mercury ruling over those things just kind of really let us know that we need to self-digest. In other words, take the things that we see about ourselves and find out that which is nutritiously beneficial to our spiritual growth and our comprehension and thinking skills, and then eliminate. Some would say elimination, excrementation would be where the third house cusp is on Scorpio, of course. And very interestingly, that's your old self there, the third house. See, the south node is your comfort zone. And to grow away from Cauda Draconis, which is the tail of the dragon, south of the lunar south node, so we can be able to expand in higher knowledge towards the Caput Draconis, which is the head of the dragon, there in Taurus, all right? Mars and Taurus, Mars and Venus, are both in the 12th house. So this was definitely some time for us to do some spiritual isolation, get over our fascination and denials, and let that inner peaceful warrior be able to allow your roaring heart to rise so that you can be very fortunate in how you allow yourself to move in your destiny. Right? Because your destiny is more tied to like career type energy, going back to your standing amongst your peers. And with that, I yield the floor. That was for Alamo Gordo, New Mexico, from about 11/27/18, Anti-Meridian Mountain. And I yield for the Cancer Zone. Saturn is clearly in the 8th house. This is what's interesting about Saturn in the 8th for me. The 8th house is second to the 7th. 7th house is relationships, partnerships, and contracts. So the values to the relationship or things that aren't values, like the debts and obligations owed for the contracts, that's the 8th house. And I think what you'll actually see here is a delay, not necessarily in inheritance, but if you guys see a delay in inheritance, what it may actually be is a chance for the records to be checked and to be able to correct those that may try to stop the inheritance, whether through jealousy or through avarice, right? Some people may be greedy. That's what we're talking about, avarice. And some people may feel like you don't deserve what is actually, what you deserve. And this is where what will be further instituted is a means for you to be able to watch your lower self and let this storm pass you. All right. And you will be able to have the energies pertaining to the planet and the universe overall back you when you really allow yourself to let the metaphysical energies, because remember, even when reading the Bible, it would be foolish, one, for us to not tell you and share with you that it's foolish to read the Bible without the metaphysical Bible dictionary, because metaphysics is the science pertaining to being, the science pertaining to ultimate reality, so that you can really allow the different names and titles and places within the Helios Bibliothèque, contemporarily called the Holy Bible, and really allow yourself to see what is happening with inside your own consciousness pertaining to your endocrine system, because your consciousness is tied to those chakras. And with that, I would like to just show you guys that the seventh house is being ruled by, and then it's interesting, the seventh house is being ruled by Saturn and Uranus. All righty. So what I want you guys to really take in on this is there's going to be transformations in your relationships due to the fact that what's going to be rechecked with Saturn going station retrograde, what you'll see from the 17th June till about the 4th November, what will be checked is who is really sincere in what it is that they're doing. One thing that I do see is going to be really, really tough is for anyone that is doing administration and then railroading beings in these administrative venues, administrative hearing venues that are falsely termed courts, right? That's what they call them, courts, right? There's going to be some serious transformations in these things. I think you guys are going to probably hear something in the news. The people are going to really get, and it's going to make people kind of, do the whole, no, it shouldn't be that way. It should be this way. But I think administration practices, there are going to be a lot of people getting fired. I'm seeing that also because Uranus is in the 10th, assisting Saturn in the 8th to rule over the 7th. Are you kidding me? Uranus in the 10th is sudden changes in the career. Are we serious here? And it's assisting co-ruling because, even though we're in the Cancer zone, Cancer's on the rise. The Leo Aquarius axis is intercepted here. Leo and Aquarius is intercepted within the 1st and the 7th houses. So that means that the moon and sun are ruling over the 1st, while Saturn and Uranus are ruling over the 7th. I think we really are about to shine a light on things that come to our subconscious mind and heart. And what's going to be reflective there is the sudden changes that are going to be happening due to the infrastructure being shared in ways where I think there's going to be some checking. And, I think it's not going to just be a few beings getting fired. It's going to be whole offices, not one office. It's going to be whole offices being changed. And I think heads are going to roll. So it's going to be a lot of people resigning. And let's just look for it. Let's see how many so-called beings in so-called powerful positions resign between the 17th June and 4th November. And then let me know what you find out. And I'll keep my eyes and ears out also on that as well. Luna's there in the 11th, ruling the ascendant. So is the sun is there too in the 11th. They're both in Gemini, and look at that. Mercury's co-ruling. Mercury's ruling the 11th and 12th. So being the final dispositor for the sun and moon, Mercury's dominant. Really, really dominant. In the 11th house, that's pretty good there. So the sudden change, it's going to be some shocking communication that's going to be poured out locally. And a lot of people are going to know what it is, and a lot of people aren't. However, you will see heads rolling. And it won't just be, those that are ignorant that don't work for these administrative offices. It will be. I can almost guarantee it with what I'm seeing and what I'm actually intuiting in this moment. There's going to be a lot of people in so-called federal, state, and municipal positions that are going to wish they were not in those positions. And with that, I yield the floor for the Gemini zone. Oh, that was Bounty Bay Pitcairn, right? For the Pacific time for what I read there, bro. I'm ready. Gemini zone, right? So we can look at this as Te Ernibai, right? Or Te Ernibai, right? Kiribati. And this is taking place at about 0500 hours, 27 minutes, and 18 seconds. All right. Gemini zone. Interesting. Saturn in the ninth. Wow, Sean, I just realized, bro, that your final testimony is Saturn retrograde in the 12th. That's going to be an interesting read, bro. And I wonder if Pisces is going to be on the 12th house cusp. That means Aries will be the ascendant, possibly. That's interesting. But anyway, guys, Mercury's on a rise here when this occurs, right? And this is just after the ascendant passes it, right? From 10 degrees, 59 minutes. So it's about, 6 minutes have passed, right? So 6 minutes prior to this happening here, Mercury was conjunct the ascendant, all right? Now, very interestingly, Saturn in the ninth is really speaking on those of you that are in higher institutions. Maybe you're going somewhere to learn something that so-called common people don't go to learn or wrap their mind around. But those that are maybe the professors or teachers of higher learning institutions will be probably double checking some things that they've shared, and they'll be correcting themselves and therefore making sudden changes in things that they've shared previously. However, just make sure you ask for the reasons why, so that the saving face energy isn't put in the forefront more than the accountability energy and the full explanation to why the sudden changes are going to be made in the higher learning curriculum, so to speak. What will be happening is the professor of your higher learning institution, or maybe someone who is assisting you in traveling abroad or even via the internet. What they're doing is a little cleansing within themselves and changing their own structure within their own comprehension. Alrighty. And therefore, the people will be able to thoroughly benefit locally, alrighty, from the values being poured out after what's thoroughly communicated for them to have for themselves. And just appreciate the change. It may make things a lot simpler for you, for those of you that sincerely study. And with that, I yield the floor to my beloved brother, in whom I am well pleased, Brother Sean Alim El Islam.
Yes, right.
Islam,
Let's get to Taurus zone. Let's see, right? Wabo Naru, right?
Hey.
Sound good coming off the tongue, right? So we got Saturn in the 10th, so we got some dignity going on here, going down. And Saturn in the 10th, right, is dealing with authority, restriction, right? So restricting authority, and also, and also, I'm getting to like you just going in, bro. I think that was in like the 8th house. So Saturn in the 10th, it's like, beings near this Wabo Naru area, and just those like Gemini ascendants, those that are, experts, right? Fathers, authority are going to, numbers are going to start dropping. And whether they're becoming aware of the fraud they're committing, or let's see, Luna's the people, right? Luna's in the first house at 20 degrees. So there's some, mysteries popping out, and beings are actually, hey, let's work together. Let's think about the community. Let's think about the babies. Because they're going through a sense of, transformation. And Saturn retrograde is about going inward and also being present in this moment. And it's also doing some shadow work here. There's a lot of shadow work. So seeing beings getting like a shadow work journal. Maybe a lot of folks are going to be on Canva making shadow book journals and shadow work prompts and all that to assist with that, right? So maybe, like I said, doing a lot of crying or surrendering within, just letting go of a lot of things that they've been holding on to that, has been weighing their mind heavily. Right. Mercury was rolling the chart. Mercury's in the first, I think 10 degrees. Gemini was, man, I just had that earlier. A fortunate degree. So yeah, very fortunate. All right. And it looks like Mercury is coming off that square, is separating square with Saturn. So there's gonna be a sense of relief, a sense of fortunate occurring with that between probably having to withdraw into oneself, kind of going into hermit mode. So wrapping up, just look within, be open to the hermit mode. Yeah, probably like a sense of health too. So maybe someone's in their family or even them is overcoming something of some sorts. Maybe it's asthma. What's that other one? I'm gonna think of it. Maybe even treating like sciatica nerve, troubles, something in that fashion. They'll be able to overcome with by restricting some things that's causing that. So maybe giving up some coffee and just other overstimulants.
That's interesting, because by Saturn ruling from the 10th, which is how you stand, and ruling over the 8th and the 9th, you're speaking on sciatica. I know that's a 4th and 5th lumbar adjustment, chiropractically speaking. I yield.
Right. So yeah, go to your chiropractor and and have them be like, hey, well, I heard Brother Hassan, Brother Seven Hellstar say, this is the 4th and 5th lumbar that deals with the sciatica nerve. And also do your research too, so that when you go in, you kind of have a gist or knowing of what needs to be, or kind of the route that you would like to go, so that when he talks to the chiropractors or doctors, they're not, trying to sell you or put you on anything that really won't benefit you. You kind of already know what it is. So just getting that extra confirmation. And Sun is in the first house too. So healing from a lot of chronic things. Saturn's one of the feet. So there's a lot of journey and wisdom. Mars is ruling the 6th house. Mars is in the 3rd. So sciatica nerves, heart clogs and arteries. Just opening up the blood flow. And what's that? I yield. Let's go into the Aries zone. Right. And we are now at Sendai, Japan, right? Or what is now called Japan, right?
Nippon.
So we have Saturn in the 11th, which is still some acts of dignity, right? Second from where he likes to rule. So this is just some values here. So maybe some universal values coming to the group. Maybe a group is letting go of some, values that they thought seemed once was true. And once, they're letting go of something that doesn't serve them, that also is able to expand, right? Jupiter in the 12th, be able to expand some things that was hidden that can bring a sense of freedom, right? Opening their hearts and also their wings, right? Metaphysically speaking, with the wings, be able to go on this new journey towards what is freedom, right? And I think, actually, I ain't gonna think. This is what I'm sure, and I know from Saturn's station retrograde to going direct even to the shadow period. So from between June 18th, 2023 to February 7th, 2024, the world is going to see what freedom really is. And they'll be able to see that starts on the inside. But in order, what comes to that is having to lose some things, having to be restricted on some things, having to really face the obstacles that they've been hiding. They don't want to admit, hey, chill out.
Chill out, puppies.
Yeah, and really just having a change of perspective is everything. And limitation is only a state of mind, even though the outer world might seem very much different. But retreating and doing this inner work and surrendering to the true spiritual thing of things, the breath work, opening up to different philosophies, theology, astrology, cosmology, and beings also going to realize too that that a lot of their woke community wasn't really woke. They were just making a bag because they seen what was trending and was able to fit in what they could and how they wanted to make a bag off folks, but not really give that true information. And for those that have been on that journey, really seen it, it's very, very different. Venus ruling the chart. Venus is in the 4th house. So, ruling the 1st and the 6th. So there's going to be a lot of changes to one's health, maybe even one's pet's health, right? Something that they hold dear, they're going to have to let go of. But I think with that initial letting go of what's dear to the heart, they'll see that, that it really wasn't benefiting them as they thought they would, right? It's like, for example, someone that loves to drink. It's not benefiting them that they're drinking, but they hold dear to it. Why? Because they're running from something and want to avoid something. But after letting go of that drinking, oh, wow, my health is way much better. It's just letting go of things that aren't serving, that one could hold dear to, that really might not be dear to one's heart. And with that, I yield the floor. And finally, for the Pisces zone. All right. Yep. We got Saturn in the 12th. And we are near Mandai, Singapore.
Oh, it almost happened.
So close.
I know Aries is the ascendant. However, Pisces is in the 12th, is intercepted. However, Saturn, Uranus, and Jupiter are in the 12th. Interesting.
Yeah,
Saturn, Uranus, Jupiter, and Neptune. Pardon me. Saturn, Uranus, Jupiter, and Neptune are ruling the 12th.
Muy interesante.
CC.
All right, so this is occurring on Sunday, on Sol Day for the Singapore area. So Saturn left the 12th house, right? It's his joy. It deals with spirituality, subconscious, institutions. And whether that's an institution of your own mind or institutions outside of us, right? When we think of banks, schools, universities, all those things, there's going to be a decline. There's a sense of justice coming here, but also opportunity to co-create. Maybe some different kind of information's coming. So I'm really getting that there's going to be a lot of what they would say like alien activity, or some sort like multi-dimensional beings. Whether you want to say it's aliens or spirits or angels or archangels, or even if beings is able to communicate without even having to say words, right? Oh shit. And just really listening too as well, right? Listening more than we talk. That's another example. Mars is ruling the chart. Mars is in the fifth. Fifth. All right, so this is just some home communication, co-creation. So as they would say, like, make love, not war, right? So be honest with your loved ones, be open to those communications, right? And hear them out. At the same time, use your discernment, not be judgmental, but hear them out. Let's see, Pluto's conjunct to that 11th house cusp. And just be open to receiving, right? Or looking to collect. Neptune is conjunct part of spirit. Wow. There's a lot of beauty coming in. Folks, I know we always been saying it, right? We say it every Sunday, Friday when we close out, when we do our Moorish American prayer. We talk about going east to looking within. A lot of beings going to be forced to look within. For those that have been doing the work, been looking within, this will be a smooth Saturn retrograde. But for those that have been ignoring it for, let's see, probably about the last, more about the last 5 to 6 months, but honestly, about the last 2 to 3 years, a lot of things going to be coming up that you thought you was done with or didn't want to see no more. And they're going to have to deal with that. And Saturn at 12, it's like your dreams, nightmares. I mean, you're not going to be able to run away from it. So, be prepared for a beautiful ride. And at some point, Saturn is going to, be trying in the south. Actually, no, those nodes are going to move. But really just look back to see what weaknesses or what makes one comfortable, and now restrict oneself on that comfortable living and maybe step into the uncomfortable lawful living, right? And also probably sharing some truths, right? So maybe some things are going to be able to communicate some things that they held dear that they might have been fearful of sharing. But with that sharing, it's kind of like when they how they tell actors, right? If they got stage fright, just imagine everybody in their drawers and the audience in their underwear. It's kind of bad just sharing it. And then, that's the only way to really move forward. So maybe one's throat chakra is opening up, and maybe even one's earth star chakra, right? Doing some extra grounding on top of that root chakra. And being able to open, communicate with beings. For those that are just wanting to operate with good beings, that's good. But for those that work with the opposite of that, hey, that's all on you, right? Principle of correspondence. So just being open to different things, different beings, different information. And just finding balance and beauty. And with that, I yield the floor.
Yes, Lord. So, very interestingly, I and Brother Sean, pulled tarot cards. My question was, what is the energy overall pertaining to Saturn retrograde? And then, of course, I'm pulling from the perspective of the Baltimore Corporation, Maryland State Republic. And I'm like, what is the energy, right? And I was like, I'm only going to pull one card. So what's the Saturn, station retrograde energy with Venus, right? Ruling, if I remember, from the 10th while in Leo, right? However, Venus ruling over the 1st, the 2nd, and the 9th houses. And it's interesting because, Brother Sean, what was your questions? Or what was your collective question? Because I think the collective question you said was different from your quote unquote personal question.
Correct. I was just like, what's the energy for Intuition Monday, us going in on the Saturn retrograde?
Mhm. And the two cards you pulled, it was two cards on that one, right?
Right. I had one fly out and then I pulled another. What flew out was Five of Scepters reversed. Right. And then what I pulled was the Fool card.
Right. So Five of Scepters is what came out in the mid shuffle, and then the Fool, right? FOOL, Fool card was what came out. And like I said, I think we were pulling from both the same deck. And when I asked about the overall energy for the Saturn retrograde, which we presented here on Intuition Monday, I got the Nine of Cups, right? So you want to go in briefly on your testimony for
And
Five of Scepters and the Fool card?
yeah, so Five of Scepters is dealing with just reformation, right? And when we think of five, you can think of the five principles. You can actually look at the card, so I got a visual of that energy, right? Yeah, dealing with Jupiter. So yeah, I think embracing the heart, because once again it's reversed, so it's looking within and just opening to up what one is truly passionate about. Like, what do you feel truly passionate about at the core of your heart? And it's also understanding the application of the guide or call upon power in your everyday affairs, right? Just not thinking about Sunday or Wednesday, but like every breath, every moment, and able to just start becoming more disciplined and also more open to really expand on some things that one initially worked on, but now they're able to, like I said, see it in a new light, a new journey. And with the Full card, man, I mean, it's like, it's like a new journey is here, right? New lessons are here, transformation is here. And it's like, does one want to, walk that new path, right? Of what's presenting itself, being able to really see what's in front of you, right? Regardless of every other negative thing, like what's the beauty in front of one that one can really see and be a part of and be open to. And that Five of Scepters is just helping as well. And it's like 22 and 5 is 27. 2 plus 7 is a 9. So it's an ending of a cycle here. So really look back over like the past like 9 years. Look at the growth that one has done. Because the Fool is 0 and Rider Waite, and it's 22 and our Egyptian Brotherhood tarot deck. So it's like, do you see your growth? Do you see how you like moved away from some things that really wasn't for you? And you might have been passionate about it and you really cared for it, but it was only serving ye in that moment, in that transitional stage. And now there's a new stage to walk onto, right? It's like BT, it's like that BT show. Coming to the stage is you. You are no longer, we can be the fool in a sense, but it's it's just embracing that new journey, yo. So man, it's just really beautiful. And it's just being open. It's like being childlike in a sense to really just be innocent and just ask questions, right? And like I said, a choice is being offered. So will one take it? Or will, like I said, you got the known, you got the unknown.
Islam.
The choice is yours. One must choose between good and evil. And if one tries to reject their philosophy on life, as they would say, you are the fool. So it's quote that when ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise, then he or she indeed is the fool. So that desire must, be guided by the heart, intuition, rather than by material means. And with that, I yield to you, bro.
So when I pulled the Nine of Cups from my Brotherhood of Light, what I got was, in short, the key word is vicissitudes. And the etymology for vicissitudes comes from the Latin vicis, which means to turn, to bend. Some may also see it as to change, to alter, right? But it's coming from the, if I'm not mistaken, I think Proto-Indo-European root, wake, W-E-I-K, which deals with to turn, to bend. So there, as far as vicissitudes, deals with, a transformation or alternation, right? And, the Nine of Cups ultimately is, wishes granted, if I'm remembering that correctly, right? So there may be things on your heart, those of you that have been like, okay, I thought this was happening. How come this hasn't happened for me? How come it seems like assholes are winning and lawbreakers are winning, whereas those that are, being, and exercising jurisprudence are having a tough break. And I'm just seeing that Nine of Cups says, but wait, there's more. And it's like, nah, it's the lawbreakers aren't winning. There just had to be enough built up for them to do so that when they hit ground, they will be Humpty Dumpty. All the king's horses and all the king's men will not put Humpty Dumpty back together ever again. So, let that egg crack. Like, seriously. Because remember, even though Humpty sat on the wall, remember, wall in French is Moor, M-U-R. Right? That's what I'm like, what? So with that being said, my overall energy for looking at Saturn retrograde from here near the Baltimore Corporation, Maryland State Republic, looking at it in terms of what does it mean for the Saturn retrograde with Venus ruling the ascendant, second house and ninth house? Of course, it's wishes being granted. So that which you've been thinking of, that which happened, that which you was been hoping to happen, you've been working on it. And I don't think it's just one thing, whatever it was that's in your energy, and it's right and in harmony with nature, you are to get those outcomes. Those of you that aren't in harmony with nature, right? Maybe you'll get something lesser to fulfill for you. However, those of us that are, exercising jurisprudence, as well as needing a break from these administrative policy tyrants, we will be getting that break. And these administrative policy tyrants and their practices will soon look like straw ignited. Because as soon as you ignite straw, it immediately like flash paper. Right? You ever seen magicians light a piece of paper and it's like really fast, and it's like a coin appears or something else appears. It's called flash paper. Straw is the same way. So wishes granted, alternations in your favor, transformations in your favor. And with that, I yield the floor, bro. Right? Malika, is there anything you want to share? If you're still there, do you want to tell the people about your Sue the Servicer? Malika, go on.
Hey,
Okay,
I'm here.
Indeed. You want to tell the people about Sue the Servicer? We talked about it yesterday.
Okay, so we're hosting a class on the 17th of this month, which is in 12 days.
Look at that, on the same day that Saturn retrograde. Looky, Astro Cookie. Go ahead, I yell.
Oh, is that a good thing?
Is that you talking about the 17th of? We talking about 17th June, right?
Yeah.
That's what our whole Intuition Monday was just on, and we're just talking about people getting their wishes fulfilled, because there are people that are exerting administrative policy that have been like having people that shouldn't be losing out, and now those administrative.
Well, that's because we believe in it too. The reason people are losing is because we believe in the bullshit too.
Wow.
We say things like, well, I was driving. What? No, you don't even know what those words mean. And so we hypnotize ourselves, and we're having this class so that people can start to get the right, as you say all the time, concept correction, so that they can understand how to really tackle this thing called the mortgage. A lot of people are afraid of the mortgage. Even people who claim to know all this consumer law, they like to beat their chest about how they bully the bureaus, but nobody's willing to stand up against the servicers and the banks with these illegal mortgages, because of course there's still gurus out here telling people that they can just get rich and then pay off these commercial loans, instead of realizing the scam is the fraud and the inducement of participating in commercial activity, thinking that you're securing a private home. So we're going to be going over exactly the issue with the fraud and the inducement of these mortgages, so that we can start to strike at the root, so that we can relieve people from these fictitious obligations that they were never qualified to be into in the first place. So we've had an installment mortgage free for those who are currently in, or I should say not in a home, and they wish to acquire one. That was our original class. And then our second iteration was for those who had a mortgage, but they were behind and potentially already facing foreclosure, or even
was that evade eviction? If I remember, was that evade eviction?
So we wanted to do some triage there. So this iteration of the class is for people who are current on the mortgage, or the alleged mortgage. We're calling it not your.
Right,
So
exactly.
for people who are current and they're not in a desperate situation, and they want to force the servicer to stop sending the bill first, instead of like some of our brethren who have just been like, you know what, I'm done with this, and just stop. For those who are actually current, they're not under some type of financial pressure to stop paying. I think that they're in a strong position to sue the servicer. And again, we're focusing on fraud and the inducement, not some special type of discharge tactic, because there is no debt to discharge. It's all fictitious. They cannot actually finance homes for regular people. And we're going to go and show exactly where between Title 12 and Title 15, it says exactly that these people are not supposed to be collecting deposits from us, which they call payments. They send you a statement and they ask for a payment, but what it actually is a deposit, which they cannot accept from regular people. So there's a lot of things going on right in the beginning that people are not aware of, and therefore they employ poor tactics when they're in a situation where they're facing the mortgage. So we're going to dispel some myths, and we're going to give people tools and templates to sue the servicer first, instead of waiting to be behind the 8 ball. So we're going to have some fun.
Right. Preemptive, as we always say, right? Not waiting till shit happens to, oh, snap, I need to do this. Hey, Malika, I know you said 30 days ago we need to do this, but
and I know
now
preemptive is not sexy. That's the problem. Being preemptive is not sexy. I don't know why. We're
going to make preemptive look sexy.
I hope we do. I hope we can. I hope that you just sit around and be like, how can I fuck this bank system up? What can I do? If you've asked yourself that question, this class is for you.
Indeed. So here's the flyer, guys. You can see lawfulliving.com presents Sue the Servicer. This is primarily for those current on their mortgage, right? Or the mortgage, right? The servicer, number 1, is not the creditor. The servicer, number 2, is not the holder in due course. The servicer, number 3, cannot legally foreclose And the servicer, number 4, should be sued immediately along with one other indispensable party, exclamation point, right? So donate for that class, guys. And this is, like you said, a third reiteration within the mortgage.
Yes.
Alrighty, indeed. And you guys can see that is happening on the same day that Saturn goes retrograde, guys. So, and if you listen to, that's why I said it's funny too, because I know, Malika, you didn't know what we were going over for Intuition Monday. So for us to speak on Intuition Monday, the event that's taking place on the 17th, Saturn retrograde is, you know, people with Saturn retrograde in their natal chart are here to do a lifetime over again. So now we're talking about Saturn retrograde in transit, however, and it's going station retrograde. And what I see that this is the in the Santa Claus is coming to town song. He's making a list and checking it twice. This is the checking it twice part right here.
It's the second checking.
Yeah, we're gonna find out who's naughty or nice, and we know nice deals with clumsy, foolish, stupid. So looks like we're gonna find out.
I hope you guys come to the class. I know you guys will enjoy. I know people's minds will be blown. Like, you know, I know that most of the times when we go over certain things, the first hurdle that people have to get over is, you know, if this is what it actually says, how come no one is doing this way? How come everyone is doing it this other way? And I don't know how often you guys talk about mass hypnosis and mass formation psychosis, but people have to comprehend that if they never individually went to read the rules that govern the transaction for their mortgage, they need to stop imagining that they know what the hell they did.
Correct.
And what is actually going on.
Cognitive dissonance.
Say that again, brother.
Cognitive dissonance. That's also another big thing that we've, you know, talked about before, because it's just been trained and indoctrined. So when it's like, hey man, you getting your ass whooped, man, this is how you protect yourself. Ain't like, leave me the fuck alone, I don't need nobody. And they keep getting ass whooped, and it's like, what more do you want? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, because it's like clear that everybody, well, I don't want to say everybody
has to realize
if you've
never gone and read the rules for whatever it is that you thought you did, whether you thought you were leasing an apartment, leasing a car, buying a car, renting whatever, even a freaking Airbnb. If you've never read the Emergency Banking Act, you don't actually know what money is and what you're doing. Everybody's just making a presumption. Never read Title 12. People come to me like, well, I got the DBA and the LLC, and so how do I use this to get the corporate credit in the bank account? I'm like, what? You don't even know what you're saying.
Yeah.
You don't know what if you didn't read Title 12, you don't know what you're saying.
That's why I think it would be like, if you see, Friday was interesting because we had one of our brothers come on and I asked him straight up, I'm like, so bro, you're doing X, Y, and Z without being an agent? And he was like confident saying, yeah. I'm like, we're going to make sure we, you know, take your class also, because where we're at, being 7 Hill stars, like, all right, 1 year of lawful living thus far, it's like, yo, we're looking at this. And
they can't even finance a house. They cannot foreclose on a house. It literally has to be a bank building. And everyone, again, that's why I say, when they say, well, if that's how it is, how come everybody's doing it this other way? Well, when did you read it? When did they read it?
Because what it sounds like what type of banking they're saying they're doing is family banking with life insurance policies. And that's when I was like,
oh, Lord.
That's what I was like.
Are you still quantifying things in this unidentified symbol? Are you still quantifying things? Are you still valuing things in a term called dollar that's a weight of metal and not pieces of paper?
That's why I said, I'm gonna let people explain themselves. I want to see what their mindset is, because that's how I am. It's not like, oh, I intend to use it this way. Let me see what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah,
know.
then do they make sense out of it? Do you
Well, we'll see. We shall see very, very soon. Like, because I'm serious. It's like, okay, well, I and this brother have a mutual, spiritual mother, and I want to see what it is that they're doing being Moorish American. Because what does make sense to me is, okay,
no one can explain to me how you have to prostrate yourself some special kind of way to exercise your alleged birthright. Like no man on earth gave it to you, right?
Well, besides my mother, that's the only mind that allowed me to enjoy.
Of course, she facilitated it, but she did not make her organs that facilitated that, and she did not create the process or the chemistry that makes that happen. We're mere facilitators. So yes, we are helping, we are facilitating, we are co-creating for certain. But not even your mother actually gave you your right.
Correct.
Right? She might have helped facilitate your presence here.
Yeah, she's a conduit.
But she didn't give you your right.
I agree. Right? I completely.
And she can't. She might be able to kill you at some certain point in your smallness, but she didn't actually grant your right to live nor your ability to live.
That's why when checking is like, okay, this is bro, let's hear him out. However, Seven Hill Star is on their second year pertaining to unlawful living. And for me, in my experience, going to the jurisprudence gym, it's like, okay, comparing notes, I see that. Let me put this document in here. Let me see this. And then you see how these administrators totally like, let's skip even simulating this legal process. Let's just do this and make this happen. So it's like, oh, y'all didn't even want to go through your own, court processes. You guys wanted to get straight to some other stuff that's super illegal.
You realize that it's just straight up rape. They hide behind a veil that it's law until you start reading the law, and it's like, well, actually, according to
and so I hold them
they're
to
like,
let's
we don't actually go by that.
Yeah, let's use this group of beings with Glock 40s on their hips and bulletproof vests to make it seem like this is what needs to happen. But it's like you totally skip past what you're supposed to do to quote unquote facilitate.
Hey, did you guys see that link where the marshals had to stop in the middle of the eviction? Did y'all see that story on the site?
No.
And they were mad that they had to stop in the middle of the eviction, and so they didn't want to put the stuff back in. So the maintenance man from the property helped them put the stuff back in. He posted about it today.
Okay, I'll check that. I'll check to see what that was.
You guys got to check that out, because that's the type of stuff that's happening right now.
It's in
the middle of an eviction. It was like, whoopsie. They said there was a mistake after saying we don't care about that when they first arrived and they were given the paperwork. They were like, we don't care about that. All of a sudden, in the middle, it's like, oh, we had to stop because there was a mistake. Oh,
I told you some particular.
I thought you didn't care.
Some particular relatives we were assisting, they didn't even see any paperwork from these agents. And when told about an ongoing case, right, they was like, oh, we don't care, was gone in like 10, 15 minutes. I'm like, are you guys serious that that's what happened? So I'm just like, I told you, when like I said in class, I'm like, Then why did they let us know that they got an email?
You see, you guys should look at that. He posted it in Rent Free today. I mean, I know you guys probably been on a while, but right in Rent Free, it was posted a couple hours ago, maybe 3 hours ago now.
Wow.
And I just want everybody to know this is what can happen when you comprehend and you show in the law that they claim they're supposed to be upholding, you show it to them. People always ask, well, how do I enforce it? It's self-enforcing once you find someone who genuinely believes that what they were doing is somewhere written in the law, and you were able to show them it is not. It literally does stop people in their tracks, because that has been their shield and their sword, really, to do what they have been doing every day of their job, whether that job is a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. They believe genuinely that it is written in some type of law. And when you find people who actually do believe that, and it is the majority of them, believe it or not, there's only a few of them, though, especially the attorneys and the ones closest to them, that they don't actually, all they do is take advantage of people who are not familiar with the law. That's what they're trained to do. Most of them do think they're following the law. And once they realize they're not, some of them will stop. Like, seriously, they will have a serious coming to themselves moment, like the story about Pontius Pilate in the Bible. They have a coming to themselves moment, like, no, wait a minute, I thought I was actually following the law.
Like I said, we saw, like, loved ones had showed us the email, and I was looking at it, and it was like, this is after the fact, and it's like, hey, we're going to send you a lockbox for your move out date, scheduled blah, 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 blah. And I'm looking at this like, did they really just send you guys this after what's happened previously, like the day before? I'm like, yo,
That's how you know something was totally simulated without the so-called court process, right? That sounds like attorneys.
You got some backpedaling going on over there too.
Hey, look, when I was observing it, I was like, yo, them documents we put in had to have been fire. Like, it had to have been to the point it was like, okay, this is what we'll do. We'll go as far as X, Y, and Z and see what happens.
This against public policy to make people homeless. This is not,
Period.
this is not hidden. This is not
Correct.
like, you know, it's like, duh, there's anti-homelessness act.
Correct.
There's an entire council on preventing homelessness. Why would we do all that? Right? It's a clue. It's a clue, guys. They can only close people's businesses for tax reasons or tax related reasons and stupid stuff like that. There's nothing that says they can make you and your dog, you and your bird, you and your family of any kind of way it looks, make you homeless. It's just not there. And we need to stop allowing that to happen. But we also need to stop pretending like we can actually pay these mofos. Or that we're liable to pay them, even if we could.
Indeed. Well,
once we can start having those types of conversations, that's when stuff starts to change.
Indeed. Well, Malika, I will say that Jadon says Islam kin folks, and Mother Sahar says peaceful greetings, Malika. C. Thomas says Islam. Let's see what else I have here.
Malika, that was a Joshua Taylor post, wasn't it?
Yeah, how'd you know?
I was just reading. I'm like, I'm like, heck yeah, you know, heaven. Right?
Yeah, you're just reading it. Isn't that it? Like, he
That's
already
awesome.
earned himself 2 shirts. Okay.
That's awesome.
Islam.
Joshua was out of town and talks his sister through making them leave. That's crazy.
Wowzers.
But you know, that's what happened when people binge watch the classes and then actually do the little bit of research. You know, and I will say though that if you have done stupid crap in the courts before, it does work against you. I don't know if you guys have ran into that before too, but we've had people who basically tore their draws with the local courts for whatever other nonsense they may have been doing in the past. And so they're just not taken seriously. You know, it's like what Bobby always talks about your previous behavior. Yes, and conduct preceding you. You know, so you kind of muddy your own waters. So we got to be careful about that because it's difficult to redo it's, you know, how it's impossible to give another first impression.
Right.
Mhm. Indeed. Well, and continuing, Mother Sahar says correct. Ever C. Thomas says Islam. Mother Barbara says right. She also says greetings, Hassan, Malika. Also to you, Brother Sean. She says greetings to
She
everyone.
forgot me.
Mother Sahar is saying greetings to Mother Barbara, and Mother Barbara showing her love. She said greetings to you also. So but with that being said, guys, we are very thankful and grateful, right, for the experiences that we are experiencing. And yes, binge watching the classes, I will say yes, definitely is also very helpful. And going back and looking at the playbacks, not just being there doing the lives, going there, being there for the playbacks also. However,
I also hope people appreciate my encouraging them to go look it up in their own states and read it for themselves. Yes. Because I know when sometimes I'm looking at these codes and other people are reading them, and I'm thinking, you know, none of this, you got to put it in perspective in my opinion. And I like to put it in the perspective of this. They're telling you who this stuff applies to, and this is not for us to do. We're just looking at what they're supposed to be doing. And I hope that people internalize that. I'm not ever reading any of these codes to be like, yes, this applies to us, and these are the processes we should be doing. No.
Yeah, it's interesting when, like I said, our loved ones out there in the Midwest that we were, you know, assisting, when they had the, you know, so-called deputies looking at the case that was input, they're going to call, and whoever they called, they was like, does this mean we have to stop? And they was like, no, that injunction doesn't mean anything about stopping or anything. So just get them out of there. And as I'm thinking about how they're telling the story, I'm like, that sounds like whatever you did really did work, because they didn't even have any documentation. They refused to present any document. Did they say who they were there?
They probably want to make it look like they abandoned the place. Oh, we didn't do anything. We didn't file anything. They didn't even say who. So when I asked that question a few times, like, hold on, they didn't say who or present documentation. What's that? Like, whatever. I'll let it go. I'm trying to tell you, that's wild. Super duper wild, but it is what it is. You gotta find people willing to stand.
Indeed. So with that being said, or, you know, people that aren't coked up on, that's how I just see them. I just see that these beings are like doped up on something, and they don't care what it is that's needed to do what it is, even when you put it in their face. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's all about experiences, getting the experience, and whatever combination of wording actually assists in the moment while showing or whatever. And, you know, when beings are without documentation, without identifying who or what, which sounds very, Fifth Bill of Rights-ish. You know what I'm saying? So hold on, there's no documentation, there's no who or what being identified, but yet there's this process going on. It's like that then sounds like, okay, shoot, that's just kind of what it sounds like to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll let you know about the success pertaining to that. So you're like, all right, look, this is who we were assisting, right? And boom, that's how it finally turned out due to X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, we can just only, you know, I'm thinking sue for damages. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. To kind of show them, like, guys, this is what you can do. Like, they're still, they didn't back down. So they're like, all right, what's the next step? So it's like, okay, just work on the next step, right? So, but Malika, we appreciate you. Everybody, you know, we're going to be there for Super Servicer, because I'm gonna be taking notes. My second year around this time is, because like I said, for year one for me is no comparison. The second year is like, take the notes that you're presenting, and then I'm gonna like immediately, like right after class.
Somebody just sent me a presentment today that got to get that payment impossibility.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? So, Good night,
All
brother.
right. Indeed, Brother Sean, it's on you. Good night, Malika. It's on you, Brother
Indeed.
Sean.
Indeed. Peace and love to you all. Bro, I'm pretty sure we could be at contact as usual tomorrow.
Mhm.
Y'all on the East Coast, right? Enjoy your Tuesday, and everybody else on the Midwest and all that. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night. Peace and
Mother
love.
Barbara's digging your halo, man.
You know, that was my get my keep on right there, right?
You're hilarious, bro.
But yeah, peace and love to
Certification is
y'all.
false.
False.
All
All right, peace and love, y'all.
We love you all. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, 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 y'all.